Hey, this is John. Welcome back to Modern Old School Developer. In the last episode, we worked on modifying our admin form to be able to update and delete movie properties. That was great, but it did open up some issues. One of them is now we can delete movie properties that might already exist on a movie. I don't want that to be possible. So let's see what we can do about fixing that. If we go into VS Code and go into our backend database.py, the first thing we need to do is unique to using SQLite. So because SQLite did not always have support for foreign keys and foreign key constraints, we need to enable that whenever we connect to SQLite. So to do that, we're going to make a function. And the first thing I want to do is I want to credit this person on Stack Overflow who gave me the answer. So thank you, Connie. And we're going to create a function. It's going to be foreign key pragma on connect. And we need an engine type. And the other property, or the other parameter, we don't actually use, so we'll just leave that as an underscore. And then I'm going to say execute to execute on our engine. And we're going to execute the command pragma foreign keys equals on. And this will tell SQLite to enable foreign keys and foreign key constraints. All right, so we also need to enable SQLAlchemy to run that whenever we connect to our database. So to do that, I need to use an event handler. So let's import event, and then we will say event.listen. We're going to listen on the engine. We're going to listen for the connect event. And when we get the connect event, we're going to run that function. So whenever SQLAlchemy connects to our SQLite database, it's going to run this function, which runs the pragma foreign keys equals on. And that will enable foreign key support in our SQLite database. So you might not have to do this, or you might have to do something different if you're running MySQL or Postgres. I don't know. I only have information for SQLite right now, so I'm going to leave it for that. All right, but that's not the entire solution, because SQLAlchemy by default will remove foreign key relationships when you delete a parent record. That might be what you want, but it's not what we want in this instance. What we need to happen is for it not to delete those references, and that way we'll get an integrity error when we try to delete a parent record. So for instance, if we try to delete an actor record, it has this movies relationship. So it's going to find all the movies and find all the actors associated with that movie, that is this actor associated, and it's going to remove that association. We don't want it to do that. And there's actually a very easy way to prevent it from doing this. And all we have to do is say passive deletes equals all. And so basically what this is saying is when you delete an actor from this table here, do not go update the foreign key relationship, or don't even fetch the movie. Don't try to do anything. And if it doesn't do anything, we will now get an integrity error when it tries to delete this, because there'll be a foreign key constraint. Now this wouldn't have worked if we hadn't enabled our foreign key constraint, but it should work now. So let's add this to categories and series and studios. Okay, so that should be everything that we need. So let's go see if that actually works. All right, let's hit refresh. Okay, so I have this one movie in the table right now. It's Pirates of the Caribbean 1. We've got a studio, Disney, a series. We've got 3 actors on there and a category. So let's see if we can remove those things. If I go to remove an actor and try to remove Johnny Depp, we get a problem. We get some kind of error. We don't know what happened, but we didn't get what we were hoping to get. So that sounds pretty good. Yeah, we crashed because we have a foreign key constraint failed. Perfect. That's just what we're looking for to happen. What if we try to remove the category? We try to remove action. Hey, we get an error again. Series? Yep. Studio? Yeah. All right. Let's make sure it's not a fluke. Let's remove the studio, Disney, and hit update. So now we don't have Disney on this. Can we remove the studio now? Yes, we can. So our foreign key constraints are now working properly. But we do need to update this because I don't want there to be a bunch of errors and no feedback over here. We need to actually make some kind of, I don't know, response to this. So let's go see what is actually happening over here. So let's close this and let's go into CRUD and let's go look for delete actor. So this was what I was concerned about. I wanted to know, would this cause an integrity error? And it didn't before because we didn't have foreign key constraint and we didn't have this passive behavior, these passive deletes turned on. But now it can happen. So now we need to put this in a try except, and if we get an integrity error, we will return something. We will raise some kind of exception. I don't think we have any exception that matches this. It's not a duplicate. It's not an invalid ID. None of these really make sense. So what are we going to call this new exception? Well, I'm just going to call it an integrity constraint exception. So let's say class integrity constraint exception based on exception. All right. And then in here, we are going to raise one of those integrity constraint exception. And we're going to say actor, and do I have the name? I should have the name. Actor.name exists on at least one movie. So that'll be our constraint. And we need to do a database rollback here before we do that, so we won't get any problem with the database. All right, so I think that should work for that. So let's go handle this exception in our API. So if we go over here to delete actor, which ought to be up here somewhere, there it is. So if we delete an actor, I want to catch that exception. So accept integrity constraint exception as E, and I want to raise a new exception of this type. But what type is it going to be? It's not really a conflict, so what are our other options? Well, I don't know what the best return code for this, but the two that I see look the best to me are a 406 not acceptable or a 412 precondition failed. I'm going to go with the 412 precondition failed. And that is going to tell me that we could not delete this because the actor being on the movie is a precondition to deleting it. You have to remove that actor first. So maybe there's a better solution, but it's good enough for now. So let's go ahead and add that exception. We'll say a 412 is going to be a model schemas. And then our description is going to be integrity constraint failed. All right, so I think that looks okay for now. So if we return that, we can go catch that in our front end. So let's go look at our front end. So over here, front end, source, components, and that should be for the admin form, so the movie property form. I did refactor this into a single helper function. So here is our delete case. So all we need to do really is handle the problem. So let's just say case 412, and we'll say helpers.setStatus failed to remove as it exists on at least one movie. I'm afraid it's going to be a bit too long, but we'll see what happens. All right, this is only on the actor right now, so we can only do that for the actor. So let's go see how that looks. So if I go back here and clear this out, I try to remove an actor like Johnny Depp, remove, fail to remove actor Johnny Depp as it exists on at least one movie. Yeah, that's fine. I might change the wording a little bit, but basically that's how we're going to handle that. And now we have that. So all I have to do is update the rest of those for category, series, and studio. So I'm going to go do that real quick. All right, I think I've successfully added all the rest of the backend properties. So let's go see if they all work properly now. So if we go back to main and go over here, and we are going to say, I want to remove the actor Johnny Depp. Fail to remove actor Johnny Depp. A movie is using this property. Okay. What about a category? Fail to remove category action. All right. Fail to remove series Pirates of the Caribbean. Yep. Studio. Well, we don't have any studios. Let's add a studio. We'll add Disney back, and we'll go put Disney back on there. So studio, remove Disney, can't remove Disney, a movie is using it. So what if we didn't have this movie at all? What if we don't just change the properties but just remove the movie? If I remove this movie, yep, let's say okay on that. All right, now can I remove an actor? Sure can. Category, yep. Series, yep. Studio, yep, they're all good. So there we go. We have updated our constraints to handle things properly, and now we are responding with feedback as well. So yeah, that looks pretty good. So this needs to be fixed, I'm thinking. That selected should have gone away when I removed the movie. Well, another bug to go look at. Since we are looking at this anyway, let's clean up a few more things that are related to our interface. So I am noticing that on the admin form, if you try to update something with a none property, that you won't be able to do. It has a text field here. But the remove thing, you can remove an invalid actor, which gives us an invalid endpoint. So we need to go fix that. If the actor, or if you try to remove something if you try to use remove when there's nothing selected, nothing should happen. So let's go fix that real quick. So let's go take a look up here on the helper. And basically, we need to know if we're in remove and we don't have a selection, we should do basically nothing. So let's see here. We've got our name selection and we have our selection. So that's the only time this can happen, I think. So all we have to do is simply say if selection equals, that's not right, sorry. If action equals remove and name selection equals the empty string, then we're going to simply return and do nothing. So I want to basically avoid trying to remove the none element. All right, so that should be good for that. So if I go back over here and clear this out, if I remove nothing, nothing happens. Good, okay, that's fine. The button's still there, but you know, it's fine. I guess we could put a status in there. That might work too. So why don't we do that? What do I have here? I have helpers. Cannot remove, or there we go. Please make a selection first. There we go. We'll do that. So if I do that, there we go. Now we've got some feedback for the user. All right, that's better, and we're not trying to access an invalid endpoint. All right, so we also had this thing where I removed this, and our selected things were still there. So if I hit remove, okay, and I still see the categories and the selected stuff, and all of our form data is basically there. So I think on a remove, we need to basically reset this form. And Formic has a handler for that, so let's see if we can get it to do that. All right, so in our movie data form on the onRemove movie thing, we've got Formic already in here, so I think we can probably do something like formic.resetForm. So let's see if that will work. So let's go back over here real quick. And we go back in here. Okay, let's import our movies. All right, we've got our movies. And let's remove it again and hit OK. Well, that fixed some of our thing. Didn't fix all of our things. I see selected is still over here. So that's going to be a problem. All right, the selected actors are not part of the Formic state, so that's not going to fix all of those things. So we need to update our actors selected, which we do in the movie list. So all we have to do is basically do this. If we do this dispatch, that should work. Let's go back into movie data. Do I have dispatch? Yes, I do actually. So I should be able to do that and that and that. But our payload is going to be a blank payload at that point. And I think that should be good. So let's see if that works. So we go back into our movie manager. So, okay, select our movie. We've got form data here, categories selected, available actors, and selected actors. If I remove this movie, yeah, they're all gone. Okay, cool. That is what I wanted to see. All right, I think that was looking pretty good. Well, I think that's looking pretty good. We now have deletions prevented and our form being removed properly, so I think we're handling things in a pretty good manner so far. All right, that's a good wrapping up point for today's episode. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. It really does help the channel, and I will see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching. See you then.